Yo, what is going on, team? Just want to get my trade recap for yesterday. Again, super tired and wanted to chill for a little bit. But ended up sleeping. Same thing as the day before. But again, I took a trade, journal about it. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's like jump right into it. Yeah. So the trade was for Wednesday, the 3rd of December, and this trade was only one bias didn't flip at all. Um, But it's unfortunate where I got stopped out because the trade ended up fucking running like no tomorrow. But it's just one of those things where I got stop hunted, and I'm not willing to enter in a trade again. Just again, this month is about not winning or losing, but it is about working on my psychology and making sure that's straight and making sure we don't change from the game plan. Right, there's rules set in place. Um, so I'm gonna stick to those rules. Yeah. So yeah. 4 hour time frame. Kind of nothing much going on. Not gonna lie. Kind of nothing much going on besides that. I see that we start just having some bullish displacement, right? Like I see that we inverse this gap here, and we just like we're just running, right? We're just running, absolutely running, and it's just a matter of where to, right? But ideally, the market at the time wasn't retracing. We were just absolutely running. So, um, I wanted to catch some sort of continuations. Same kind of thing on the 1 hour. As you can see, I'll try and mark it out. So this is when London session opened. So as you can see, Asia session did all of this, and we just kept on running, right? So, um, yeah. So I pretty much jumped straight onto the five minute time frame because we weren't really hitting a high time frame POI or anything like that. We kind of smacked these highs over here. I mean, this was the overall draw, but again, the trades that we do take, we don't normally hold them up too far just because price could easily retrace, especially trading on the 1 minute. Blah blah blah. So yeah, um, so pretty much bullish bias, no high time frame POI. So when no high time frame POI, that means we're looking for a continuation. As we try to catch like when there's a bullish run like this, you want to be in buys, not in shorts. So yeah, jumped right into the 5 minute time frame once I saw that when London session opened. um I see that I wanted to see what pre-market do, right? So as you can see, we had an Asia high over here. um and we made a small retracement on the 5 minute time frame. So I'm like, okay, cool. We did indeed have a 1 hour fair value gap here. But again, I wasn't considering that kind of area just because we were respecting this 5 minute inverse at the time, because price could normally bounce off this first kind of displacement, because as you can see we have multiple fair value gaps. But what I've been noticing is that the first presented one is what kind of holds the most. Does that make sense? So as you can see, that pre-market we came down on the 5 minute and we made a gap. No, and we also made a first presented gap here, but I'll get into that a little bit later. But anyways, we had a first presented gap here as well as this fair value gap here. As you can see, disrespected this one here, but tapped into this. So this is kind of our last line of defense to go long. So we waited for a reaction from this first presented gap, and what we did get was an inverse of this 5 minute inverse. So once we got a 5 minute bearish fair value gap, sorry. So and once we inverse that, I was looking to see whether we hold this area, or we kind of disrespect it, to fill in maybe a high time frame imbalance, which is these hourly gaps here, or we respect it enough just because we've tapped into it already. So wouldn't want to see that kind of being tapped into again. So as you can see, we filled orders up here enough to inverse this bearish true value gap. So I'm looking to, since this high time frame POI has been tapped, I'm looking to kind of take a trade off off that high time frame kind of reaction. So once we got that inverse of that bearish true value gap, I'm literally looking on the 1 minute time frame for any low of sweeps, right? Because I've been kind of in my model, I've been realizing that if there's no liquidity, there's no trade, right? So Um, as you can see, this is the most like craziest thing, right? So I marked out some lows, right? So 1 minute lows. So as you can see, we we inverse this 5 minute gap here. We get a nice tap into it. We take out these lows and also these lows here. Oh, sorry, these lows here. I don't know why that line is so kind of weird, but I'll draw it out for you guys. But we take out these lows as well as these lows here. We get a V-shaped recovery, right? So what I mean by that is that we take out these lows, right? These lows here. Tap into this 5 minute unfilled again. No, sorry, not this 5 minute unfilled, but that first presented 5 minute gap I was talking about before. And we get a nice recovery, right? And in that process, what did we do? We inverse not one, right? Not one, but two, right? Because again, this was the first presented gap within this move down. And normally I want to see at least these two gaps be kind of disrespected before, we could continue on the trend. So what ended up happening was that I took a trade on this candle close. Once we closed above this inverse here, or well, this bearish fair value gap at the time, as well as this one here. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll drag it out a little bit, but yeah, I wanted us to inverse this gap and this gap, which we got on this candle close and a nice bullish close. My BE was at this high. I'm not sure what the hell's going on here, but my BE was so at these highs here. So as you can see, we get an inverse again. We get an inverse like I was talking about before. And we just couldn't get that displacement, right? So I don't even know what we tapped into here, but price was just not willing to go any further. Again, I couldn't really do much. I had to kind of let the trade kind of play out just because my break-even level wasn't taken. Because if we took this and reverse, it's probably a bad sign that, we were, we're not ready to go long yet, which is okay. But again, it's just one of those things where, there's nothing much I can do in terms of about just wait for the trade to play out. Because sometimes, we get that retrace into this fair value gap here and then we reverse. So, I had a couple line of defense. I had this 1 minute inverse. I had this 1 minute inverse. I also had this 1 minute fair value gap first presented. And as you can see here, we get that nice push up and we we have a nice wick and we close bearish on that. So I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe we just need to fill a little bit more on the POIs to kind of get that liquidity to fuel the move back up again. But ideally, we were just chasing that. We actually got another sweep, right? So we got a sweep of these lows, which is I mentioned before, as well as these lows. We got the reaction of these lows. And what ended up happening was that reaction was a fake out to where the real move happened after we took out me, as well as people that had their stop losses down here, filled in this hourly gap even more. So again, liquidity. I don't know why this line is like here. It should be there. I'll draw it out. This way it makes sense. But again, we have liquidity. We have liquidity here, and we get that reaction. It was then a fake out. But ideally, for it to be a fake out, I wanted these highs to at least be taken. But ideally, I think I got unlucky. Again, I followed my plan here. We had that 5 minute inverse as well as that 5 minute holding at the time. And, we get that nice V-shaped recovery after taking out these lows and these lows. But unfortunately, price just wanted to kind of reverse and take out me as well as this low down here before kind of accumulating and kind of distributing from there. So, yeah, interesting. Ideally, I'm just happy that I got the direction right. And, my stop loss was at these lows. And I was targeting just a 1-to-1 just because we had an unfilled 5 minute kind of we had a unfilled 5 minute first presented gap So what I mean by that is that if we wanted to reverse, it would, if we did reverse, it would be on this point here, right? Like that's, so I'd rather just target that easy 1-to-1 and, call it a day. But yeah, so it was a 1-to-1. I wasn't too greedy. I did think that, that was a good take profit, but let me know, what you guys think in terms of that. But I do think that that first presented like 5 minute gap is really, really important, especially when it's unfilled, because, this could be the, as you can see that we react like quite strongly, but again, it just wasn't enough just because all our time frames were bullish, especially the 4 hour and the 1 hour. But when it's chopping up, especially on the 1 hour, stuff like that like really, really matters. So I didn't want to take the chance because price could easily come down and take me out of break even. And I'd rather just not, you know what I mean? I'd rather just take my profits and call it a day. So yeah, I was just targeting this 5 minute first presented gap here. And my stop loss was at these lows down here. And again, just got unlucky. The market does that to you sometimes. But yeah, we live and we learn. We protect our psychology. That is the main thing there. And yeah, that kind of wraps it up for this video. One thing I'm kind of adding to my strategy that's kind of helping me improve a little bit is the taking out liquidity, especially in those 5 minute POIs. No liquidity, no trading. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I have my buyers, high time frame buyers, high time frame POI if we're reacting off any. And after we get that POI, we do need that sweep, to kind of confirm the move, break free the reaction, and then take a trade from there. So yeah, just want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys tonight. I will have to trade at 9 o'clock, so that time is coming soon. I'm gonna go shower, get out these work clothes, and yeah, that kind of wraps it up for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. As I mentioned before, God bless, take care, and I will hopefully see you guys tonight. If there's no video tonight, if I did take a trade tonight, there will be a video tomorrow. So don't worry, any trade I take, wins or losses, we will journey the kind of, this will be my journal. And, wins or losses, we keep it 100% truthful here. And yeah, and that kind of wraps it up for this video. Again, thank you guys so much. God bless, take care. Peace.